Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Scary here. It's Friday, May 29th, and we're crawling right up on June. I love it. 4 more weeks in this sling, and I'm out of it. Can't wait. They said the end of June. The end of June, you can get out of the sling. Anyway, the title of the show today is called Catfish Boom. People say, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? What do you mean Catfish Boom? Give me a second. I thought long and hard about how I was going to name this video because you'll know what I'm talking about after a while, but it's the only way I can come up with a title was to say Catfish Boom. So I grew up out east. I grew up in Connecticut. And we moved a couple different times. My dad was in insurance, and so we moved around Connecticut up and down the seaboard. The state of Connecticut, we were in 3 different cities. This one particular city, we moved there in 1967, and I was in 3rd grade. And it was a new suburb, and within inside of 2 years, we had a gang of guys, kids about our age that hung around with us. So I was in 3rd grade. My older brother was in 5th grade. My younger brother was the same age. Well, he was in 2nd grade. And we used to go fishing down at the creek. There was a creek down the street, a creek, brook, same thing. But we used to go fishing. Me and the gang, there was like 6 of us. We'd get our poles and our tackle box and our bait, worms, and sometimes we'd use lures. We'd go down to the creek or the brook. We call it either or. I call it the brook. And we'd fish. We'd catch bluegills. We'd catch catfish. We'd catch pickerel, which is a small pike. Perch, that kind of stuff. Small game fish. We never kept, well, sometimes trout. We never kept it. We would just catch it, release it, throw it back in. We had a guy on our street. He was 17 years old. He was like our mentor. His name was John Griffin. I don't even know if he's still alive. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He'd probably be in his 90s by now. But anyway, John was like, he drove a really cool 1967 lime green Camaro. He used to peel his wheels out and press all the kids. He was a big, fat, jolly kid. Really nice guy. But John was our protector and our mentor and our leader of the gang. And he would come down to the brook with us sometimes and give us tips and stuff on how to fish. And he taught a lot of the guys how to fish. My father taught me how to fish. Actually, my grandfather did. My dad would sometimes show me some things. And this one particular day, there was 4 of us down there. Me, Ray, my brother Pete, and my brother Mike. The 4 of us fishing along the banks of the brook. And my brother Mike caught a catfish this one particular day, and he caught him with a lure. Now, lures, depending upon what kind of lure you use, lures can be expensive. A hook with a worm on it with a bobber is a lot. It's a lot cheaper. Get a worm. But my brother Mike caught this catfish one day, a good sized catfish, maybe 12 inches long, which is a good sized catfish, and he swallowed his lure. If you've never been fishing, sometimes if for people out there that have gone fishing, it's called they swallow the hook. They gulp in the bait, or the fish will gulp in the bait, gulp in the lure, and get so excited it goes down past their gills into their throat. And you got a fish that has swallowed your hook, you're pretty much screwed. You might as well just cut the line and let him back in the water. He's not going to live much longer because can you imagine trying to swallow your food with a giant hook lodged in your throat? And this one particular day, the lure was a red and white lure. My brother used it. It was called the Daredevil. And they still make Daredevil lures. And my brother Mike was pissed. That was a whole week's allowance just to buy that lure. And he was pitching a bitch. He's like, I can't believe it. What am I going to do? And he called John over and goes, John, what am I going to do? I can't get that out. And he's pulling on it. My brother Mike's pulling on the hook, and the fish is going, trying to pull it out. And John goes, don't do that. You're going to hurt him. Here. Give me that. So he took the fish in his hand. I got my other arm caught in my sling. I can't illustrate with one hand. He took it in one hand, and out of his pocket, he took out an M80. Now, an M80 is like a quarter stick of dynamite, for people who don't know. They have cherry bombs, but then there's M80s. And an M80 is about 2 inches big, 2 inches long, by like a 3/4 inch diameter. And now the top of it was a green fuse about a 1/2 inch long. And we, as kids, we knew what firecrackers looked like, because John would always have firecrackers around for 4th of July and stuff, and he'd show us how to light firecrackers off. They were called blackjack firecrackers. Brings back memories just saying it. Blackjacks. People my age, they know what a blackjack firecracker is. But anyway, so we had an M80, and I'd never seen an M80 before. And I said, and my brother Mike goes, John, what's that? He goes, it's a small stick of dynamite. We're going to get that lure back for you. Give me a second. So he took the fish from my brother Mike. He told my brother Mike, he goes, light this match. And when I say to light this fuse, I'm going to jam this M80 down this fish's mouth and let him back in the water. And we're all like, what? So Mike lights the fuse of the M80. John takes the M80 and jams it down inside the catfish. Drops him in the brook and lets him swim away. Mike, and he says to my brother Mike, he goes, give it leash, let it go out. So you can see Mike's line tightening as the fish is swimming free with a lure. And then all of a sudden it stops. And you hear kaboom, like a muffled kaboom. And the water bubbles up. And then all of a sudden you see fish guts rise to the top of the brook. The concussion it would have been a lot louder had it not been underwater, but it sounded like boom, like that, you know? And then you could see almost simultaneously all these fish parts coming to the surface. And John goes, okay, Mike, reel it in. So he reels it in. There's his lure. He goes, there you go. You got your lure back. Right as rain. We laughed our asses off that day by the brook. And we were hoping and praying, because John was down there with us, we were hoping and praying that a fish would swallow our hook so we could do it again. We want to do it again. I never forgot that. That was in 1967. I'll never forget that story. So fast forward, I'm 25 years old. Where was I at 25? I have some episodes in the past on my channel. Back when I was with Gino. Back when I was with Gratz. I was living on Cape Cod. I was a waiter at a restaurant. Waiter-bartender at a steak and seafood restaurant. On weekends, we would take excursions out into the Nantucket Sound, which is, it's all salt water. So it's like from Cape Cod Island to Nantucket Island. You can't see land once you get out in the middle of the sound. And the average depth is 60 to 70 feet deep. We go fishing for stripers, striped bass. Sometimes we catch a rogue bluefish, but it was basically a striped bass. And Gratz, my roommate at the time, who came to Cape Cod with me, Chris. It was usually Bob Gratz and Gino, the cook, Marcia, and me and Chris. We go out in these boat excursions. And Gratz had a boat. He had a little boat. It's like I don't know how big it was. I don't remember. It was a center console boat. And it was enough to hold 5 people very comfortably. And we got out in the middle of it, Nantucket Sound. We'd be fishing, spin casting. You couldn't use a bobber with a worm. I mean you could, but just most of the fish are down a ways in the ocean. And this one particular, we did this every weekend. We were getting towards the tail end of the year. And I always came armed with M80s, but they didn't know it. See, I remember that trick from back when I was a kid. But so here we are, like in our 10th excursion. The season for the summer season was getting close to a close. It was now the beginning of September. Kids were getting back to school. The vacationers were going back to the inland of wherever they were from, but they were getting off of Cape Cod. And we were out in the middle of Nantucket Sound this one particular afternoon. Well, Bob Graziano, he hooks himself a nice rogue bluefish. And I mean rogue. Bluefish travel in schools, big schools. And they have these teeth on them. They're like little claws or teeth. And they chew everything in its path. They're school fish, and they're garbage fish. Bluefish are garbage fish. And he caught a rogue blue by himself. He was away from his school, and this sucker was big. We measured, when he got it on board, we measured it at about 19, almost 20 inches long. That's a good-sized bluefish. The only problem was he had swallowed his fucking hook all the way down. It wasn't the hook. It was a good-sized, flat, like a 2-ounce lure. Blue, and it was blue on one side, silver on the other. It was about this long, the lure. And I forget the name of it. It's been so long, so that was 1985. It was just a flathead lure, and it weighed about 2 ounces. Good-sized lure. And this blue has swallowed it. Now, I'm thinking, how am I going to get this M80 past his teeth without cutting my fingers wide open? I'll slip it in his gill. So I said to Bob, Bob was pissed. He goes, God damn it, I've had that lure forever. I'm not going to be able to. And so he's trying to pull it out of the bluefish's mouth, and the bluefish is going, I said, Bob, that's hurting the bluefish. Let me hook you up. Hold on. Hang on to the fish. Hold him tight. Hold him tight. I don't want him flipping around. He goes, what are you going to do, Gary? Gary, what are you doing? I said, give me a second. I dig in my tackle box, and I got an M80 out. Bob goes, what you doing with that M80, Gary? What are you going to do? I said, just relax. Gino, give me your lighter. Gino hands me his lighter. I said, now, Bob, I'm going to jam this M80 lit. And Bob goes, wait, Gary, I'm not going to hold this thing where you're going to blow that fucking thing up. Gary, what's the matter with you, huh? I said, Bob, listen to me. Shut your mouth and listen. I'm going to light the fuse on this fucker, jam it down in his gills, and we're going to put him back in the ocean. And you'll have your lure back in no time. Bob goes, okay, Gary, just let me know when to let him go. I went, lit it, stuck it in his gill. Bob goes, I said, Bob, throw it overboard. He goes in the water. He's going. I said, give him leash. Give him leash. Let the reel out. And it's going zzz, zzz. Nothing happens. It's silent. Now, we don't know how far down he went. We were hoping he'd go surface level. Because blues, most of the time, their schools were surface level. A foot down. That was about it. And then his line got loose. We didn't hear a boom. Nothing. So he reeled it in, and there was his lure. We didn't see any signs of the guts or anything. So 2 or 3 minutes goes by, and Grass is turning his boat around. Well, as he's turning his boat around, we're heading back to shore. We walk through the plume of guts about 100 feet away from the boat at surface level. There was a head floating in there. There was, fish parts everywhere, and we're all laughing. There it is. There he is. Grass is like, I like that. Can you give me some of those M80s? I said, yeah. I'll give you what's left over. This is the first one I used all year. But for those who are out there that are anglers, that are fishermen, I don't know if you could buy M80s in Ohio. I'm sure you got to go to Indiana to get them. That's the best firework places that are in Indiana. If they don't sell M80s anymore, buy cherry bombs. They're just as good. The cherry bomb is circular. It's got the same kind of fuse. And the fuse, by the way, is waterproof on the cherry bomb and the M80. The M80 makes a bigger boom. But in my lifetime, I've done it to maybe a half a dozen times, blowing the fishes sky high. And I usually do it with catfish, because catfish are rots. Catfish, I've gone fishing in Ohio River. You don't keep anything out of the Ohio River, by the way. It's nuclear, because up north is Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and they dump all their trash and their chemicals and garbage in the Ohio, and it comes down ways, and all the fish eat on that shit. So if you catch a big old blue belly catfish and he swallows your hook, or even if he doesn't swallow your hook and you just feel like blowing him up, just jam the M80 down there, light it for shits and giggles, let him back in the river, and boom! Sometimes if he goes out and he's out like about 6 inches, 7 inches from the surface, which you're hoping he is, and you can see him in the water, you can see his fins, boom! Loud. Fish guts everywhere. It's like that movie Jaws, when he blew him up at the end of the movie with the tank in his mouth, guts everywhere. No one ever said anything. No fish or game ever caught me. But what the fuck, It's just for fun. It's not considered cruelty to animals. I mean, it is if he didn't swallow the hook on, but I brought the M80s along. Might as well use them. Sure as shit. That was fun. That's all I got. Quick story about Catfish BOOM. You ought to try sometimes. Go out and buy yourself some fireworks or M80s Or cherry bombs. If they swallow your hook, just jam it down the motherfucker, light it, set it back in the water, get your lure back. That's all I got, people. Tomorrow, Saturday, I'm sure it's going to be another beautiful day in Cincinnati. It's like 85 degrees today. Fuck. Not going out in this heat. I'm a pussy. Anyway, you all have a fantastic night. If you're going to be drinking and driving, please take an Uber or have a sober friend drive you around Cincinnati. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out.